Richard back at you, still trying to get some of that cold air. I'm telling you guys, it's really hot here in Amarillo. We got Matt's 06 GMC 1500 in the house all the way from Iowa. Now, our earlier video of his transfer case showed that it had a hole in it and stuff like that. Basically almost totally destroyed on the inside of the transfer case. He thought he knew he had a noise, but he thought maybe it was even in the transmission, not so much that, but there's the noise. But anyway, it's got 140,000 miles on it, and he brought it down here to get everything taken care of. We're going to service the differentials, basically go plumb through it, because he's going to be keeping the vehicle. But anyway, another 4L60E, guys. I tell you, we tried to split them up, but this one doesn't look to be gone through, so that's a plus. It is a four-wheel drive.
Well, yeah, you just tore down the transfer case.
That's a plus.
That's a plus.
How'd you know that, Teresa?
Because I work here.
You work here?
I work here.
Let's see, we already got all the bolts out of the bell housing but one. Now this is the thicker bell housing of the two of the removable style. We have a B85 torque converter. It's a TMBX style. That's what it looks like. Kind of dark.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
So what are you talking about, the thicker bell housing?
The thinner bell housing has a different shaft and a totally different torque converter, which what we call the B29. So early style 700, or not as early as early, but
So
well, they
like
made so many different ones.
non-electronic 4L60.
Right, that would work, yeah. Okay. But they did make 4L60Es with a smaller bell housing that still took the small converter. So they moved the O-ring from the out on the shaft here onto the farther down on the shaft here. A lot bigger O-ring. This O-ring don't shrink up as much as the earlier style did that was out here farther on the end, the little tiny one. But these still do shrink. They have an issue.
Well, I didn't know that. You know, somebody else might know either. Not know.
Not know.
Hey, I wore my dirty clothes, police-wise, right?
Yep. Looking good today. Just got off that riding lawnmower. Got all the weeds cut down.
And it was dirty.
Found a baby rabbit.
Yeah, I found a baby rabbit. Annie almost got a hold of it.
Yeah. We have our overdrive servo there. We have our intermediate servo here. Just a stock servo. Now we will be upgrading this to the Corvette servo. I want to give him a little bit of more band applied pressure. Like I said, he's going to be towing a camper and something like that too, so something small. We got our front seal retainer. Short-handed today. Trent's back home sick again. Of course, what did oh guys, I lost my 13 this time. Not my 10, my 13. Wonder where it went. Always a spare somewhere. My tools are scattered today. Got the motor sitting in the Dirty Bird. Got the transmission sitting in the Dirty Bird too. Wow. That's a plus. Yeah. So we're getting somewhere on it. Pan looks really nice. I'm not sure if it's ever been serviced. It does have the original style pan gasket on it. You know, guys, the one that don't hardly come off. Unless you just get lucky, like I just did.
Dang, look at you.
Normally I set it for hours with a razor blade. You guys know what I'm talking about. To try to get that gasket off there.
The fluid doesn't smell either, so, but it's a little dirty.
Yep, filter's a little dirty. Like I say, it does seem to be serviced before, but probably never changed the gasket, because that's normally what happens on these. Got our detent spring. Gonna clip our PWM solenoid, and then our downshift solenoid here. our pillow switch here, our shift solenoids here, our pressure control solenoid here. Late design, if it's an early design, you'll plug it in on the back, different plug. So. Anytime I pull the clip on these, I always try to clip it back on, that way it stays with it. Now this is our actual lockup solenoid here. And then we have our PWM solenoid that goes here. Pretty simple. Now this connector did have fluid in it. I didn't show you guys that, but it physically did have fluid in it. Definitely like my air. You like the air better than electric, Teresa?
It doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter?
You just have to learn not to talk while you're doing your air gun.
Really?
Yeah, because that, you know, is a big deal.
I thought I did learn. Nope, still doing it. Okay, well that was our pillow switch there, and we have our 10mm bolts here. Our two little short 10mm. And we have our 8s here, kind of an L-shaped. Just remember those go there. If you put them anywhere else in the middle, they could rub on the drums. We have our manual valve linkage.
I just think you get to going so fast you forget.
Well, I mean, these people are actually in a motel, so
No, I understand.
they're in a hurry. We have our check balls.
That's been beaten on that plate.
Yep, you can see here the damage here on the plate.
Oh yeah.
Here, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much here, it looked pretty good. That one does. So these two are repairable though. So we can repair this plate instead of just getting rid of it. And then we'll get over here and look at our valve on the PWM here and see if it's been messed with. Of course it hasn't, it's just all factory. Now this is the easiest one to do if you're going to block it. So I showed that in my previous video. Alright, so all we do is put a check ball here and a check ball down in there and basically assemble it back. And it'll block that valve. Pretty simple way to do it, works really nice. And we're going to look at our forward accumulator here. Looks even clean there. Somebody, you'd think, took care of this unit, kept it serviced, because it doesn't have really a lot of trash in it or physically any type of buildup. Just remember here, round hole, square hole on your gasket. Right here, valve body. On the bottom, same way, round hole, square hole, and you'll need to see case through the pico, the little window there.
Through the pico.
Yeah. Now, since this accumulator doesn't have a bigger spring in it here, kind of weird how they did that. I still like to get this piston up to the top. No matter how, what, form, or fashion, I'm going to get this piston up flush to the top there. Okay, I'm not going to leave that big old slack in there like that. Okay.
Okay.
Of course, we're going to block our fourth gear accumulator. Real simple. Just use 2 pistons. Talk about that. Put them interlocking like that. Very simple. Oops.
Don't want to lose that.
Don't want to lose a bolt. It's not like we ain't got 5 more laying somewhere.
Probably.
Like I say, not a lot of fluid, but you can see the pins are wet down in there. So we got a new wiring harness over here all ready to go. Then we have a check ball here. And once you block this accumulator here, you can leave that check ball in or out. It doesn't matter. So it's just sitting there looking pretty at you once you block it.
That spring.
You hold your parking lever and kind of turn the output shaft where it locks. Then you can get in there to that bolt there. Pretty tough if you don't. So you notice every time I pull these bolts out down here where the pressure goes through the pump, you always see fluid come out of the bolt holes. That's why we always talk about double sealing them, so that doesn't happen. Okay, our hard O-ring to seal the pump in the case. Now when you bolt the pump in, the pump doesn't push the seal in, the bell housing does. So what we do is we put our pump down in here, get it ready to go, put our O-ring in there, set our bell housing down in there, and then we torque our bell housing down, then we torque our pump. That way we know everything is nice and center. Works really good for us that way. Pump looks really nice. Like I say, if you got any bushing wear in here, you always want to check down in here. Make sure there's no ring groove stuck down in here. Now you notice here we have a reluctor style input shaft, but we don't have no sensor in the pump. So, but let me tell you guys, if you have a reluctor on this shaft, you better make sure you have the right stator for this shaft, because the stator is different for the other shaft that has no reluctor. So if you get them mixed up, you're in big trouble. So just remember that. So just saying, if this was bad and you went out and grabbed a stator right here and a pump stator body and you put it in there, it's not going to work. It'll fit, but it won't work. I'm going to show you the reason why. I don't know if you can zoom down in there, Teresa.
I don't know.
Do y'all see that big hole down there in the bottom right there?
Oh,
Bless
sorry.
You. Bless you. Do y'all see that big old hole way down in the bottom down there?
Yes, I do.
Okay. The transmissions that do not have this reluctor right here, they do not have that big hole. So if you get them mixed up, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, let's see here what we got in here for a boost valve.
Oh, it's right down in there. There you go.
There you go, look at that.
Look at that. I got good eyes.
Now this could be multiple here, probably still a 4-ringer. Could have been a 2. And let me see if this
That
is...
other one was...
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to look, because they started messing with these bodies right here too. This is like a mid-year tranny. If you notice, we got our groove here for our wiring harness for the speed sensor. That big hole right here was supposed to be machined out for a speed sensor. So they make the groove for it. It's just they just ain't got totally to to the changeover yet. But if you look here, the difference in the boost valve, they shortened it to give you room for this wiring harness and stuff here. Now if this had a wiring harness and we need to get in here and do anything to the boost valve, you couldn't do it because it blocks it.
Yeah.
But since this one doesn't, we can do boost valve work here. If we put a big boost valve in it and we don't like it, we
Right.
can go in there and change it. But you see here the difference in the links.
Yeah.
See, early. So,
Good to know.
yeah. Now they do, Transgo has a boost valve kit that'll retro both directions though, so that's a good thing to know too. There we go. Like I said, we don't see a lot of wear on these valves here, the bore, so much in here. Not like we do the 6080s and the 6090s. We already got our single cone spring. So they're really getting close to doing a complete changeover on this tranny here. And start adding the speed sensor and stuff like that. So still got quite a bit of bluing on there. Got some wear on our pivot pin. You can see it right there on one
Yeah.
side.
Really.
And we got our little spring. Body looks really nice too. So we can get in, get my gloves off, clean it up, make sure everything looks good there. Put a little Scotch Brite on it. Say we like to knock our band anchor out of the way. There you go, just like that. That way you can grab this and just pull it out. Definitely got some wear on the band. It's actually smoked that thing just about totally. You can see it on the drum too. Now you want to definitely run a flat edge across this drum here. Check in 3 or 4 places. Make sure you don't see no daylight. You know, we've showed that multiple times in our videos. To where, so we clean the drum up and check it, then we just put it across here. If we see any daylight in the middle here, we know that's got a bow in it all the way around in multiple places. So real simple to do. Actually, we just had a bunch of drums come in this morning for these. Now one thing you got to know on this unit though, if you start changing parts, that's where you run into trouble. If you see this hole right here, it's square, right? Well, they make a round one, and it's about the size of this screwdriver right here. So you got to be really careful. If you put one of them in there, you're in trouble. So it's got to look identical. Of course, our reverse clutches are all still intact. Looks pretty decent. You always want to check this bearing here. If it's bad, it could wind in park and neutral. They don't give you many options on these right here. You notice this is an 89, 90, 87. They don't 88. They don't make they don't give you very many options here. Of course, you can see the 4 seals, the reluctor there. Now we could put a non-reluctor pump in this. Take this reluctor shaft out here. Put it in a normal shaft and you put it back together and it'd work just fine. Thought I started seeing some wear on the clutches there, but some of them are starting to get some wear on the tips. See it right there? Starting to wear them out. 7 clutch kit there. Now, these backing plates right here, or ply plate, excuse me, on this one here, if these are good, always keep them. Because anytime you use an Alto clutch kit, it will not come with this plate right here, and you'll need to use it. So if you gather up a bunch of these from using Z-packs and stuff like that, just always save them. And the load springs actually got some height to them.
Yeah, you can actually see those over the top of the hoses.
Pretty nice, huh, when you see that?
Yeah, them other ones, there was nothing.
They were pretty weak. Now this is a 6.0 too, huh?
Yeah.
A 6. I see 5 pinion planets in there. That's kind of different there.
This is a 6.0 liter.
Yeah, normally 6.2, something like that possibly, but got some nice pieces in there. Your forward clutches look good. Your engine brake clutch still looks decent. That's your sprag assembly looks like. Wow, that's probably the nicest hub I've seen in a long time. For having a brass washer there. So you always get these in, they're always wore here on this side, never on this side.
Yeah.
Never. And a lot of times it wipes the hub out. So you Scotch-Brite this up really good. If it's got any chatter marks, throw it away. Same way here, no chatter marks, Scotch-Brite it up. Look at your sun gear on both sides, change the bushings. I always like to get these bushings in, never put them flush. Always put them down in there pretty far. Because when you set this down in here, it'll kind of stand above the little lube hole, or what do you want to call that right there for that seal. So,
there you go.
got that thing. I like it when we get to pull nice pieces out of transmissions. Because you feel this compared to a 4-gear, the quality, there's just no comparison. And the quality of the metal, the weight of it. This thing weighs 5 times as much as this cast iron one here compared to a steel one. So, now your roller bearing hub here, they do make 2 different ones. So the part numbers are the same, but it's an A and a B. So the later ones take the A, the earlier ones take the B, I found out. The bearing will not set in here like this one. So that's the only difference that I see. Of course, these are always wore out here. When does school start, Teresa?
And I think it's at the end of August.
Is that the end of August? Of course, this hub here is always wore on the splines on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Always. So, but you want to look at your ring gear here. You don't want to forget it. Very seldom do I see any issues with these. It's always going to be the rear one. You have your roller bearing here. And you have your shell. Of course, these years here, they put a hardened one anyway, but we still see wear down through here where the bearing sets and turns. You can see that lip right there with wore down in there.
Yeah.
Get a snap ring out of here. Notice I point that away from me. I know it's going to splash everywhere. Think we got 5 pinions in the bottom end, guys?
I would think so if you did one in the top.
Well, you never know, GM. I've seen them have 5 in the front, 4 in the rear. But look at this.
Dang. Nice.
In the same way, if you get a 4 pinion like these, and you just look at them, this is made out of pot metal. This is made out of some really nice material.
I mean, you can really see the difference.
Oh yeah, the quality.
Oh, yeah.
you know. Now the ring gear is the same. The hub it can be different. They do make a hardened ring gear, but you know this ring gear here, if you look at it, it's totally gone. I mean, literally, this ring gear is wiped plumb out. Look at that. Look how pitted that is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is wiped plumb out. Almost looks like it got rusted somehow.
Yeah.
But look at that. I mean, it is wiped plumb out. So you definitely want to look at your sun gear. You start seeing damage like that. Because we replace every one of these with a brand new one. I mean, 99.9% of these we replace because of the wear on the sun gear, wear on the ring gear. Now what's crazy is you could have this type of wear here and not see that wear on these gears. But I do. I can see the wear right here on this 5-pinion rear planet. Luckily I got some new ones over there in the box, so we can replace this one here. We don't rebuild these or anything, we just trash them. I mean, if hard times come to be hard times, we might try to rebuild one, but I mean, right now we just replace them. So get rid of that, put a new sun gear, new ring gear. So quite a bit of damage, really. I mean, more than I expected to have, huh, Teresa? So we got some nice parts to put in it too. I can't wait to get it going. But anyway, guys, we always thank you, Teresa, for sure. I gotta get that in there, guys, or I'm gonna get in trouble. But but guys, hey, don't forget to subscribe. Push that notification bell. That way you know when the next one's coming. And we got a lot more to go. So y'all have a great day.